Hello, everybody, and welcome to HATCH's fourth Global Accelerator program. Since last year, a lot has changed in everybody's lives, but one thing that hasn't changed is the need for innovation in aquaculture. And the HATCH team has been working incredibly hard over the last 8.5 months to create another program full of amazing technologies and also very talented aquapreneurs. We've managed to go and find them. They're all the way from Hawaii, all the way across to Canberra in Australia. And we're delighted here today to launch and share with the aquaculture world who those teams are. So this is going to be a very brief introduction today. We are keen to get going with the teams later today and over the next 4 months. So the agenda today pretty much looks like this. I'll do a quick intro here. A big hello to our team, some of whom are stuck in Singapore and Hawaii. So a big hello to Crystal and Sup and Ben and Dylan, who unfortunately couldn't make it here today, given the pandemic that exists for a lot of people and a lot of challenges there. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to kick off then, I'm going to introduce you to the managing partner of HATCH, Karsten, who's going to give you an interesting, very short brief of where HATCH has come from since the very beginning. We're now at program number 4 and 38 companies we've invested in. So we've come a long way with a lot of learnings there. Next up, I'm going to introduce 4 of our teams. They're going to give a very quick introduction to you of who they are, where they're from, and the technology that they're working on to share with you. And then we're going to introduce you to Tanya Hole, our innovation manager. We're super pleased to have Tanya join us earlier this year in terms of growing out our innovation department, and she'll talk to you a little bit about that. And then, of course, I'm going to introduce, obviously, Ina Votna, Ina from our fund advisory board, who's going to say a few words. And then we're going to get back into the teams again, the next 4, because there are 8 companies in this year's cohort. And then we're going to finish up closing remarks by George Bonnock, our managing partner also. So I'm not going to stay talking too much longer. I really want to get to the teams and introduce the world to the world. And so I'll ask for Karsten Chrome to pop up here. Thank you, Karsten.
Yep. Hello, everybody in here and out there. Just for you guys out there, there's hundreds of people here right now, right? So it's amazing. So if it gets a little bit too loud, right, let us know. No, actually, it's not. There's about 15 anyhow. No, I'm just going to say a couple of words about the history of HATCH and how we got here. Obviously, this year everything is different, and we'll talk about it. But we basically started out, George, Wayne, and myself, in Berlin, just in the living room in 2017, thinking about how to make early stage aquaculture investment a thing. Decided that Accelerator would be the way to go, and launched our first cohort here with our partners in Norway in 2018 in April, and made our first 8 investments at the time. And our main partners were then and still are VIS, which is the facilities where we are in here. And for those of you who will make it here to Norway in a couple of weeks, you will get to meet everyone. And the NCE, which is the Seafood Innovation Cluster, which is essentially the main Norwegian aquaculture companies joining together to tackle innovation. And these guys were, so NCE, the Innovation Cluster, and VIS were our first partners in crime and still are important partners. We then did our second program in Ireland together with BIM, which is the Irish sort of government marine institution there, and made another 6 investments at the time. And then used basically those investments as a track record to then open offices in Singapore and Hawaii, as well as raise a fund, which we closed. Well, we did the majority of the race in 2019, but only in 2020 in January, closed the fund officially right in time before something hit the fan. So, so this is the fund that you will be receiving or have received money from. We have one investor actually in the audience here today, one limited partner of the fund, Johan, thanks for coming. yeah, and so this fund is $8.4 million under management. A small portion of this will go to the companies right now, as you know, and then we hope to make, or we will make, follow-on investments with the majority of the money from the 8.4 million in hopefully many of you after the program at some point. Last year in 2019, we did our first global cohort in Hawaii, Norway here, and Singapore. Again, Hawaii has also become one of our main partners, and so has Singapore, government agencies there, NELHA and Enterprise Singapore. And we were obviously hoping to repeat this year, and we were unfortunately not able to do that, which is really a bummer because it was an amazing time. But I think while working remotely is obviously more difficult in many ways, we also have now, I think, 6 people more on staff than we had last year, so almost doubled the size of the HATCH team, as well as obviously made many more connections last year that we can now contribute to you guys this year, as well as again 6 more on staff. So I think we can make up for the reduced time on site that we will have this year. Yeah, we also just briefly, we split up our company in 3 business units. We have the HATCH Accelerator, we have HATCH Investment, which has this first fund and hopefully a second fund at some point as well. And we have also an innovation services unit, which Tanya Huhl is leading, and she'll talk to you later. And obviously this is complementary to the accelerator program, as the innovation services unit works with corporates and governments, as well as later stage investors. And the network that is being built there, the relationships obviously contribute also to our portfolio funds. So yeah, with that said, I'm excited that it's starting again. I'm a little bit, well, anxious to get going, and I hope you guys are as well. And then, yeah, we'll be in touch a lot over the next couple of months, and look forward to that. Thank you. Yeah, clapping, guys. The 100.
Okay, calm down, everybody. Thank you, Kirsten. It's great sometimes for us to have a look at where we've come from and where we are today. But really where Hatch is looking for the whole team, and as Kirsten said, it's grown quite a bit, is looking towards the future. And these next 8 companies who you're going to hear from over the next 45 minutes or so are going to be some of the future stars, we believe, in aquaculture globally. So I'm delighted to kick off first and foremost, Jason Glint from Blue Line Labs, all the way from Ontario, Canada. Jason, if you could share with us your team and what's going on there in Canada.
For sure. Thanks, Wayne. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Wonderful. Okay, hey everyone, I'm Jason Glint, the CEO of Blue Line Labs. We're developing a camera system that uses AI to rapidly identify microorganisms in water, such as sea lice and algae. So using our AI-powered solution, this allows fish farmers to have an early warning system when sea lice or algae might be growing out of control. And this allows them to take immediate action. So this results in them reducing their losses and increasing yield from their crops. And we have 4 people on our team. So first, myself, my background is in electrical and computer engineering, with a focus on machine learning for computer vision applications. I finished my PhD, and in my PhD, I built a custom low-cost microscope to capture images of algae and analyze them with machine learning. Next, we have Katie, who is my co-founder. Katie has a PhD in aquatic biology with a focus on algae. Before Blue Line, she ran her own company as an algal taxonomist, analyzing samples and consulting to government agencies and water utilities. Next, we have Sylvia, who just graduated with a degree in science and business with a specialization in chemistry. Sylvia is our marketing and sales lead at Blue Line. And finally, we have Juan, who is currently in his master's in civil and environmental engineering, where he's using machine learning. Juan is working on the data processing and AI analysis of our solution. We're an early stage company located in Canada, and we're currently working on our first prototype. We're super excited to be part of Hatch this year. We are new to aquaculture, and we're expecting to take a really deep dive into this new world so that we can get up to speed fast. Our goals for the Hatch program is to make international connections to deeply understand the problems fish farmers have and how this connects to other key players in the industry. And we're also excited to meet and work with the other team members who are part of this cohort. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. And as you can hear from Jason, and you'll hear all the way through the presentations, brief presentations today, we've got a wonderful collection of people coming from different backgrounds with different skill sets, all looking to solve problems that exist today in aquaculture. And that will be a common theme throughout. So next up, thank you, Jason and team, and the best of luck on the program. Next up is all the way from the UK is A&B Sensors, and it's Nathan Lawrence and Katie McGuinness.
Hi, thanks, Wayne. Yes, I'm Nathan Lawrence. I'm the CEO of A&B Sensors. This is Kay. She's a COO of the same company. So A&B Sensors is a startup based in Cambridge in the UK, and we're developing novel calibration-free solid-state pH sensors, which we believe have a good market in the aquaculture industry. We were founded in 2015 for some work we did for the Wendy Schmidt Ocean Health X Prize competition, where we developed a cheap and inexpensive pH sensor for monitoring the ocean. Since then, we've been on quite a long journey, funded by both UK and EU funded grants, and we're about to go commercial at the end of this year, primarily in the oceanographic industry and tethering the sensors to autonomous underwater vehicles or ROVs. We have a team of about 8 people at the moment, of mechanical, electrical and chemical engineers, and they give us all their sort of skill sets that we need to develop and deploy the sensor. What we're trying to take home from the accelerator is to really learn about the aquaculture industry. This is quite a new industry for us. We know the price point is important for the industry, for the pH sensor. We're looking to understand what other sensors may be of use for the sensor, using their attributes of free and low maintenance. I'm really, really excited to learn about all the other companies that are here. I think that's going to be quite good fun. We're looking to the visits, both in Singapore, Hawaii, to all the different firms and how they deploy the sensors they use today and the different systems they use. So yeah, we're excited to start.
Okay, thank you, Nathan and Kay, and once again, the best of luck. Next, I'd like to welcome a local company here near Bergen in Trondheim in Norway, and it's Seafeed and Tor Remmen. Tor, how are you?
I'm fine, very fine, thank you. Thank you for being able to tell a bit about Seafeed. I'm Tor Remmen, I'm the CEO of Seafeed. In Seafeed, we are producing a feed product for most marine species, aquaculture species around the world. Most aquaculture species are very small when they are born or come out from their eggs, and they require a live feed in the beginning. So that's what we are producing. We are producing a live feed or eggs from a live feed, which we are selling to the market. It's a plankton that is called copepods. We are today 12 full-time employees in the company. We have some revenue already, but we're quite eager to explore the market for the next years, and both in Asia and many other areas in the world. We are located in the other side of the fjord of Trondheim in Norway, where we have our pilot production. So together with me in the team, I have a production manager that takes care of all the production things in Vanvikan. I also have a senior biologist. He's hitting 70 years this year, but he denies to stop working for us because he's so interested in what we are doing. So it's quite good. And I also have 2 other biologists that are working with different markets areas. These days we are producing and selling a lot to the home market. We have some export of the product, but we are a bit hit also by the COVID situation in Seafeed for export market in special. But we think that the world needs more aquaculture in the future, and we still believe that there is a lot of things happening in the aquaculture in the years to come. So we are trying to grow our markets now. Not at least, we are looking for capital to grow our production a bit more to be able to respond to the market needs the years to come. So that's where we are now, and I'm really eager to kick on going and working with the HATCH team and also the other guys of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Tor. You can also hear, folks, that a lot of these companies have quite big teams and are companies which are really scaling. And we're looking forward in a very big way to helping them scale their business globally, along with companies who are a little earlier stage and looking to find their market. So the program presents many challenges, not just to do with COVID, but in terms of meeting the needs of these companies and facilitating their growth, certainly over the course of the program. So just before, we're going to split the cohort presentations. And just before we do that, I'd like to introduce you to Zach and Shelby in sunny California. Zach, Shelby, how are you?
Hi, thanks, Wayne. Hi, everyone. How are y'all doing? So I'm Shelby, and we've got Zach here today, and we're Team Seawarden. So my background's in seafood certification. Aquaculture farmers need certification to enter many retail markets, but there's a couple problems. The certification process is expensive. It requires collecting a lot of data and information to meet various requirements of the standard, and it can be challenging from the farmer side to know kind of what you need to do to meet the requirements. Also, these audits, the certification audits, they're happening only once a year. So there's concern from the consumer end in terms of what's going on the rest of the time at the farm.
Yeah, and so combining Shelby's auditing experience with mine focused on data science and satellite remote sensing, we've been developing an approach that integrates into the existing data collection efforts producers are already performing. Our approach ensures that inputted data is secure and verifiable, allowing producers to use that data as evidence of their compliance to responsible production methods. We think this approach could improve the integrity of existing certification programs and be especially helpful for small-scale farmers in remote areas. Our team consists of myself, specializing in data science and remote sensing, Shelby with seafood and fish auditing, and David Wang, a talented computer engineer with experience at Uber, who is passionate about applying technology for sustainable causes.
And we're really excited to have the opportunity to be in the HATCH program. I think we're most looking forward to meeting and learning from the HATCH team, the many mentors that you're all bringing in, and as well as other teams in the program who have extensive aquaculture and seafood industry expertise. So we think that the exposure to all these groups is going to help us grow and develop Seawarden in a way that we can best achieve our goals of greater transparency and better sustainability outcomes. So really, really looking forward to it.
Okay, Shelby, thank you. And these two lucky guys and their team are relocating to Hawaii over the next couple of weeks. So no jealousy there. Thanks, guys. And I'm moving shortly on, or quickly on. I'd like to introduce you to our innovation manager, Tanya Hole. Tanya joined us earlier in the year. And since then, she's brought another dimension to Hatch and building its knowledge and its reach to the global aquaculture market. So I'm going to ask Tanya to say a few words about her role and where she's taking it over the next 10, 15 years, maybe.
Thanks everyone for tuning in with us, and especially thanks for our VIP guests that are actually with us here at Hatch's offices here in Norway and in Bergen. I will especially like to thank our program sponsors, Cargill, Biomin, Yamaha Motor Ventures, and also Thomason, and also our program partners, Nelha, the Innovation Park at Hawaii, Startup Singapore, also the Seafood Innovation Cluster, and also the University of Hawaii. Thanks to them and also to V's innovation from their support, we are enabled here today to present our 4th global cohort moving forward. Since its inception 2017, Hatch has enabled these partnerships between industry clients, investors, and governments and early stage innovations. So our main role in the industry is to drive those conversations and build those partnerships that can enable that innovation to be implemented into the aquaculture industry. I onboarded Hatch earlier this year in May as an innovation manager, and I will be leading Hatch's new business unit, Hatch Innovation. Our goal is to grow our innovation community to support our portfolio companies when it comes to commercializing your product, your idea, and your concept, but also to support our industry client when it comes to shorten the process of time to market. For Hatch, it's all about increasing the innovation capabilities of the aquaculture industry and to drive that sustainability in the global aquaculture industry. As Carlson already has mentioned, Hatch has now grown to be a global organization. We are now an innovation and a venture platform. We are 13 team members, and we are all very, very excited to be here today and to look forward to be working with all the portfolio companies moving forward. So as Carlson also said, we are here for you, and I'm very much looking forward to bring our corporate clients and also industry partners to support our portfolio companies in the future. So thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. And as Tanya said, I mean, the whole focus for us in this program now is the companies, you guys out there. You know, everything that we're going to be doing over the next 4 months is basically to try and help you, develop you, connect you, and network you. And hopefully, if you're looking to raise money, you're successful in doing that. But going back onto our next presenter, Einar Vatne, who at the time when we first engaged with him, he was the CEO of Cargill Aqua Nutrition, and he's gone on from there. But Einar has been a wonderful advocate for Hatch from day one, and he's helped guide us, and he also is on our fund advisory board. And you know, it's always a pleasure to connect with him and for our teams to learn from him, because he has many, many years of aquaculture experience. And I'd like to invite Einar, if you're there. He's not far from Bergen, but he's at home in the office today. If you could share a few words with our audience today.
Yes, Wayne, can you hear me well? Hello from Tysnes, a small farming island south of Bergen. I hope the sound is okay, and I apologize for not being able to be present live, but with most of the participants sitting on distance, I think this can work well. Starting with a new cohort, I need to start to say welcome. And I think you are now rolling into a very exciting period of your company development. And we hope that we all together in the Hatch team and the companies and the organization and partners supporting you can give you a venture here that you will really learn from and can take your companies a really step forward. For us, having a new cohort, this is almost like in the spring, we have got new seeds and we are ready to help those seeds to really flourish, to grow, and we are going to cultivate, help to cultivate. It's really hope in the new cohort. And for me also as an investor, this is also hope for seeing some new successful investments for the Hatch fund. And as a representative for the aqua industries, this is really where we now can see and hope for having the new technologies being brought to us. It's a very pleasant role to have, being able to mentor, interact, and getting inspired, listen to, and notice your development being so close to the cohort as I have had the privilege to be since it started. And knowing most of the companies in the portfolio so far, I also look forward to get to know you better. Either we are able to interact face by face or on distance. So I try to have a role of sharing my experience, having been in the innovation world, mostly in the corporate world. It's just the last years I've been able to be directly exposed to the startup community after I stepped down as a senior leader in the industry. But I've been through innovation learning process myself, from being the scientist with some ideas. I was a scientist within the corporation, so my entrepreneurship was maybe more intrapreneurship, but I did the lab work. I developed into the customer phase and was fascinated how innovation could become commercial. And I also have developed quite strong views on innovation as a strategic tool. And for the corporates, it's important to say that the change that I probably appreciate most was something that my R&D director launched to me in 2005, and that was an expression called open innovation. and that is now an old buzzword, but in that period it was quite challenging for us with internal focused labs and secrecy, and thought we were the ones that could develop the big scoops silently and in-house. But it has changed completely now to really see that insourcing, getting access to the big world of innovations and startup companies, and work with them and use that as a very important source for companies' innovation strategy and for new products, is become the standard. So today I think the corporations are better prepared for interacting with a startup community because they have understood more what open innovation is. But I would still say, and make you already now ready to say, that they are not necessarily always as prepared as you would like to see them. So during this session, I think you will learn more interacting with the corporate world, how they are thinking, we and other advisors will probably help you and guide you on that. And my advice is, use the time you have to interact with the companies, to learn from them, to understand them, they are both your future customers and your future possibly owners. And do not be worried to challenge or to ask, because it's now you are in your learning phase and can do that. You are privileged to be in a startup world, and you're also privileged to be in aquaculture. We have all in the global society faced a very tough year with the COVID situation, but I think aquaculture has demonstrated its strength. Despite that people do not eat on restaurants by far as they did before, it seems that seafood has its big role, and it's just for us to change the channels we are selling it, and people consume probably even more seafood than they did before because they like the trust and the healthiness of seafood as a food. So the industry is robust, but will need to be constantly able to change, and that's something the industry has done, and that's why we need startups to support. And the new HATCH cohort is one of those opportunities the industry has, and I think they welcome you, and I will just end up again wishing you all the best in this period you're going to work together with the HATCH team and the sponsors and the friends of HATCH. Thank you.
Einar, thank you so much. And you quite rightly point out that, dealing with and having an opportunity to deal with and share ideas with people like Einar and our other mentors. And I'd like to take an opportunity to shout out to all our mentors who may be listening in or who will be joining in the program over the next 4 months. Without you and your inputs, these companies that we're talking about today will take a lot longer to get where they need to be. And it's really interesting to see how we can shape their views, their opinions, and their direction over the next 4 months. And in terms of taking new direction, HATCH this year for the first time decided to look at and invest in a plant-based seafood company. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome Monica Van Cleef Talbert and her mom, Shelley Van Cleef, who are in Virginia. Hello, Monica, how are you?
Hi, good, how are you? Hi. So hello, everyone. My name is Monica Talbert, and I am the co-founder and CEO of the Plant-Based Seafood Company. We are an all-female family-owned company with a passion for creating healthy and delicious seafood experiences made from plants that are so close to the real thing, they will blow your mind. Our background lies in the real seafood industry, where for nearly 20 years we have successfully created and sold award-winning real seafood products to retail, food service, and e-commerce channels. During these 20 years, we've witnessed firsthand some unacceptable and often hidden practices in the seafood industry that always bothered us. Determined to be an agent of change, we set out as the first seafood company to offer plant-based alternatives in hopes to spur meaningful change in our industry. We believe decreasing the demand for certain seafood species by offering alternatives that look, taste, and perform like the real thing we've been creating for 20 years, will no doubt create positive change and make a huge impact on our own industry, our oceans, and the global food system as we know it. Our newly launched branded Mind Blown plant-based coconut shrimp, crab cakes, bay scallops, and dusted shrimp are available in select grocery stores and now sold online. Our team consists of myself and, as you know my mother, Shelly Van Cleve. She is a seafood industry veteran and a genius in the kitchen. She has developed dozens of products from concept to being sold on thousands of retail shelves. Her products have landed on the highly coveted Oprah's favorite list. And most recently, our Mind Blown plant-based coconut shrimp won the soon-to-be announced Most Disruptive Product of 2020. It's a top honor from the Prepared Food Spirit of Innovation Awards. We couldn't be more excited to be a part of the HATCH program and HATCH family. We are really looking to gain insight and knowledge from people that have been there before us, and be connected to a like-minded network that can help guide us on our way in our mission of changing the global food system. And I think most of all, we are really excited about being part of a group that is hell-bent on changing the world for the better. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. And congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, all the way from Michigan, USA, it's a company called ExciPlex, and it's Daryl Staveness. Hi, Daryl. How are you?
Hi, Wayne. I'm doing great.
Good.
Yeah, so as Wayne said, my name is Daryl Staveness. I am the founder of ExciPlex, calling in from Ann Arbor, Michigan, here in the United States. So my background is actually in chemistry. I have a PhD in organic chemistry from Stanford, but I also have some agricultural research experience. So this company concept is kind of the bridge between those two worlds. So at ExciPlex, what we're looking to develop is a new diagnostic system for detecting toxins in animal feed and feed inputs. Specifically, we're looking at mycotoxins. So these are fungi-derived toxins that diminish grain value and can also impact animal health, especially aquatic animal health, if they're allowed to track through the feed production chain. But using our proprietary diagnostic technology, our goal is to basically provide a new test that is cheaper, faster, detects more toxins than anything on the market today, essentially looking to address all the market pain points in the current landscape of mycotoxin detection. Yeah, and so, sorry. With that being said, I am a solo founder at this point in time, so I am actively looking to recruit a co-founder, specifically someone more on the kind of product management, product development side with a little bit of business background, someone who can ensure the scalability of this product. So that'll be one of my focuses throughout the course of the program. And then obviously, so ExciPlex is pre-revenue. We're still in the MVP development stage. So you know, the other main goal of mine for the program is just get engaged with the aquaculture sector, with the feed sector, with the Hatch team, and all my mates in the cohort, and just use that as an opportunity to build and refine the business model. And you know, basically maximize the potential to impact aquaculture, as well as other livestock and grain sectors. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Daryl. And for those of you who've been through an accelerator before, and certainly from Hatch, what always gives, I think, the Hatch team the greatest pleasure is when you see these guys presenting on day one, you know, and talking about what they're doing and what they hope to do. And then you see them at the end of the process. I think everybody here will agree they're pretty much unrecognizable in terms of the route they've taken, or they think they were going to take, and they went 180, and the people they've met along the journey. So I'm really excited to see how Daryl, for example, quite early on, and how he's going to adapt and grow over the next couple of months. And moving on to Canberra, Australia. Ewan, we are so glad that you can join us at this hour of the morning. Really appreciate your patience. How's things in Canberra?
Hey Wayne, hey everybody.
How are you?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here.
I don't think everybody knows this, but this feels like the Eurovision contest. Check people in. Ewan, how are you?
Yeah, good. G'day everybody. So yeah, everything's okay down here in Australia. I'm actually on the coast from Canberra at Bateman's Bay. I'm an oyster farmer. I've been doing it for 15 years now. And I'm CEO and co-founder of Smart Oysters. Smart Oysters is an operations system, an application for running an oyster farm, best described as Google Maps for farming. We help farmers navigate around their farm and get the business of day-to-day operations done. The best way to describe the problem we've solved with oysters is to describe my own experience on my own farm, where it's not a very large farm, but we have 4 to 5 full-time employees. We have 30,000 oyster baskets out in the water. We handle 600 to 1,000 of those a day, and they could be deployed or picked up from anywhere of 200 different locations. There's 4 or 5 different crops of oysters. There's 16 different sizes of oysters. So most farmers are actually managing their farm by memory, trying to remember all that information. The best way to grow oysters, or to grow good oysters, is to know where they are, what they are, and when you have to go back and grade them, pick them up, sell them. So about 4 years ago, I went looking for a solution to help solve this problem, and I couldn't find one. But I was lucky enough to meet some very smart guys that had experience in technology and data, and a vision as well for what we could do with farm data. So you'll meet my co-founder and COO, James Horton, throughout the process. Also in the background, I have my co-founder, Philip Browning, who's currently doing a PhD in related sort of data-related topic. Where are we at now? So we've been operating for 2 years. We've got 60 farmers using the application all around the world. We also have a fish farm piloting Smart Oysters. We've also got a wine farm piloting oysters. But I think really the success of Smart Oysters today and where we want to take it is about that. We've solved a grassroots problem. We've got global scale. And the problem we've solved in farm operations, we've also made sure that we're collecting some very powerful data so we can certify provenance of oysters and the farm practice in terms of sustainability at an unprecedented level. And I think that's about it. I'm really happy. We're actually super happy to be involved with Hatch, with the other businesses here. I think that's what we want to get out of the program, is really just build a global powerhouse of a business and grow more oysters, grow more sustainable seafood. That's what it's all about.
Okay, thanks, Ewan. And you can see, folks, from listening to the team so far, there's the breadth of experience and the breadth of focus in the aquaculture world is quite wide and varied. And we're hoping, even though this is a remote program, that all the teams will connect and learn. That peer-to-peer learning element is critically important. And moving on, lastly, in terms of presentation, to someone who's got many, many years of experience in business, I'd like to introduce Keith Coleman from SUSIV. Keith, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Very good.
Good. Hopefully you can see me.
Yes, we can.
Good, good. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today. Just to give you the headlines on what I'm doing and what we're doing. We've been going now for about 6 years, so a little bit longer than maybe some of the participants here. We've developed a completely natural system to grow algae in the desert. We use sunlight, seawater, and air, wind, thus so say we, in order to make algae in the Sahara Desert today. We're on the 4th generation of our technology. We started in South Africa on a small bench scale, real world, and then moved to Oman and then Morocco, following the deserts, and growing algae using our proprietary system, and we've got full patents and so on for that. We've developed initially an algae product for targeting a substitute for fish meal. For obvious reasons, fish meal is not good for the oceans and not very sustainable. But algae is the only real natural substitute with the full omega profiles, proteins, and so on that would be a good substitute for fish meal. Subsequently, we've broadened our look at the products that can be made. Obviously, each species of algae is its own portfolio. It's got alternative proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, pigments. And so we're looking into the algae to see what products we can make, which is the next generation of work that we're doing. We've developed a large-scale pilot in Morocco. We're operating the largest raceway pond in the world at the moment there, even though it's still pilot scale. And we're now designing the next generation, which is a scaled up version, which will be a 100-hectare system in Morocco. What I'm looking forward to from here is looking at connections in terms of production technologies, product development, and finance, connecting to finance as well. And in particular, what Einar mentioned as well is some of the strategic connections that we can develop. We have one strategic partnership at the moment with a fish feed producer, but we're looking at others and exploring others right now. So really looking forward to this program. A little bit about me. I have an MBA. I'm not really a scientist. I ran public sector consulting businesses, so not banging aquaculture as my expertise. But my partner, Dr. Rafael Javin, has a PhD and was at Woods Hole Institute where he did his postdoc, and he's the brains behind the system. So we're a strong partnership. He's the scientist and I'm the business guy. He does the technology development and I do sort of fundraising and give an odd idea here and there to how we can develop next. That's enough about me, I suspect.
Okay, thank you, Keith. And folks, in terms of the teams, that concludes the team presentations today. And to all of you, I wish you the very best of luck. And I and the rest of the Hatch team will see you on the other side. But just to finish up the occasion today, I'd like to invite George Bonnock, Managing Partner, just to close things off.
Hello, everyone. Hey, guys. Warm welcome also from my end. I think this is a bit of a different one, a bit more cozy this time than last year. But yeah, I'm personally very excited because I think we have a very interesting mix this year. So we have a bunch of later stage startups. They are already selling to many customers. We are looking, how can we help them to accelerate that? How can they sell more? How can they maybe access financing? We have early stage companies, really early in some cases, but that's our job. So our job is to take that risk and work with them. And I think really to the point of an accelerator, probably this year is more important than ever to accelerate these companies. It's very difficult to go around the world and meet customers. It's you're basically stuck at home. You have this early stage company. You're trying to find traction. You're trying to sell. And I think we have a network that we can use. We have partners that we can contact. We have experience in maybe what sectors are a bit more suitable for a certain product, or which business model is more applicable, or how you would go about the marketing strategy. And with that knowledge and that network, we really hope that we can create some traction for these companies or with them. Because I think especially now with the pandemic, capital is more scarce. So it's more difficult to convince someone to put money into your early stage company. And usually what helps is traction. So if these startups go out and say, hey, we're selling already to those many customers, and if you give me $1 million, then we can sell to way more, that's the perfect spot to be in. And yeah, I think that's really when Wayne 3 years ago came to us and said, guys, you don't even know how to run an accelerator. Let me tell you, I think this year is probably the most important one for that methodology and creating some traction. Yeah, lastly, I really want to thank all of you know, all of the partners. You already mentioned that, Tanya. Wayne already mentioned our mentors who were hugely helpful in delivering that. And also lastly, our team. As Tanya mentioned, we already grew quite a bit. And I think we are now more than ever really well positioned to help you guys on the, from all around the world and help to create some traction for your company. And thanks for those that came here today. Massive show up. And we look forward to working with you over the next 3 months, and I'm sure we'll be in touch. Yeah.